on his Raw show, and he was texting him. He didn't say anything. He's like, I go, Cervico, Wednesday Adams. That's how you know he's official.
He also sags his pants a little bit.
Yeah, he does.
Just a little, couple inches.
Just a little bit. So, yeah, I don't think these people realize that this is what happens. A lot of these people move to online content, and then they don't have this crazy production. They don't have.
Thought that he was going to leave CNN and do what Tucker did.
Yes. By the way, Tucker can't do what Tucker thought he would do. Tucker's not doing the same consistent show either. You know, he has talent, unlike Don Lemon, but it is tough to do. It is very
the viewership too. That's what I'm saying. Like, no one gives a shit about Don. They're watching CNN. Right. They don't give a shit about the
We wouldn't be talking about Don Lemon's show unless there was controversy surrounding an interview with Musk, and it reeks of desperation. Don Lemon was not going in there to do an actual interview. No. It's like, I've got to go create some controversy with Elon Musk and hope that I do well.
Right.
Yeah, it was ambush journalism for sure.
Exactly. Whereas, you know what? Take a contrast with yesterday, Vivek.
Yeah.
Moment there, and I agree. I understand if it's a Trojan horse. This does not give the president unilateral power to ban a website or ban any app. It's not accurate.
Or U.S. companies. That is the part of this that I'm just like, guys, like
truth matters.
But yeah, if you want to make a slippery slope argument, sure, and we can discuss that. But that's not what you've said. You've said this is a Trojan horse that can be used against U.S. companies, and that's 100% verifiably false.
Yeah.
Don't believe anybody who says, I'm sorry, I don't care if it's Elon Musk, I don't care if it's Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, anybody that we even like and call friends, I don't care if they say it. That's not true.
It's just not.
We just have to call balls and strikes on this. And I get that we lean and we love what Donald Trump does and we enjoy reading his tweets and we do all that stuff and we agree with the vast majority of his policies. But there is this stupid idea that some political leader is going to do everything that you agree with, and everything then that they do must be something that you agree with. And that's how people operate in this space, and I hate it.
It's a very simple mindset.
Exactly, it is. And it's like you can't ever challenge. Challenging is what makes us better. Sure. It's what points out potential flaws in a policy where maybe this person needs that pointed out. Instead of going, well, they're against it, so therefore I must be against it as well. Do your own thinking. That's what we encourage you to do. That's why the resources are all linked for every show. The sources that we use, all of them.
I agree. And actually, I do want to go back to a point about Donald Trump when we close. But we'll probably go a little late today because people need to get their mug club worth. It's time for Chat Thursday. Very, very quick stinger. All right, let's take some chats. And let's try and rapid fire chats because we want to get more in on Thursday.
More chat.
All right, from Decent Question Asker. Question, do you think we'll see a change in countries like these with no First Amendment rights, or is it impossible? It seems that even though these people complain, they aren't actually willing to fight for their rights.
I think that the First Amendment rights, free speech rights, once they begin to erode, they continue to erode until there's some kind of armed conflict. Historically, that's what happens.
And I think they have a history of kind of having limited speech anyway.
Yeah.
And shaky freedoms. So we think it's way more preposterous here because we're so used to a life where we're free to do that, but they don't have that same luxury.
Yeah, once you give it up, you don't really tend to get it back with freedom of speech. So I don't know. I don't think that you'll see a lot of improvements. I think it will continue to get worse, and then it'll eventually lead to some kind of actual civil conflict, which is what, of course, these people want, because then they want to say, see, this is why we need to censor their speech. Look at how violent they are. While they, of course, subjugate people to violence from other folks of their ilk or voting base next year.
It's a classic Star Wars story.
I'm not familiar with the reference.
From Cobalt Smith, question for Crowder. What do you say to the conservatives who say you can't fly the Gadsden flag and the thin blue line flag without being a hypocrite?
Well, I wouldn't fly the thin blue line flag, generally speaking, just because I think there are good cops and there are bad cops. I hate the idea of defund the police because of really the black liberation theology behind it, and it was based on a lie. But I also do believe in police reform. Now, my view of police reform is different. For example, I support chokeholds. I support police being more capable of violence so that they don't have to be violent. In other words, someone who's more capable of violence has more violent tools, and not just violent tools, but more violent tools outside of the gun, doesn't have to reach for a gun. What do you think happens when you say you can't use chokeholds? What do you think happens when you say, no, you can't restrain somebody? Well, what do you think happens when you say, we don't need these physical fitness requirements? The only tool they have is a gun. So I do believe that there needs to be police reform. I do believe that we have a problem with the police unions and corruption. For that reason, and knowing how because you talking about sort of, being, someone who believes in liberty, the Gadsden flag, and the thin blue line flag. But I also do understand that we're a country of law and order. You do need police forces to some degree.
Yeah.
There's a difference between a police force and the police state. So I don't think it makes them a hypocrite, but I would fly the thin blue.
So here's my thing. Look, we already have the flag that is known the world over to represent liberty more than any other object on the planet. Fly that.
Rainbow one?
No. Sorry. Oh, you got me.
Shit.
No, we've got the American flag, and unfortunately, it's become a form of protest to even fly it.
Right.
I do. I fly the American flag because I'm like, you know what? I want people to know. Like, I need to defend what this image is. I understand that, but we don't need new flags. I'm not saying you can't have them. And that you
Well, the Gadsden flag isn't a new flag.
No, I know.
I do like that flag.
But that's not the symbol most Americans look to and point to as something that represents liberty. Most people don't even know what the Gadsden flag symbolizes at all. We have the right flag to be able to fly. You want to add everything to it? That's totally fine. I just don't think we need to abandon saying, this is where the battle is drawn.
Yeah.
This flag is the flag that the world knows what it means. Let's make sure we reiterate that.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we support that.
And I understand the reason for the thin blue flag,
Yeah.
thin blue line flag during Black Lives Matter,
Of
during
course.
defund the police to show them support. I understand it. It's just not one that I would have flying next to the American flag, permanently.
It's also technically a desecration of the American flag, which is
Right.
it's the code of the American flag. And
Right.
if you really respect the flag, then we wouldn't do. First of all, we wouldn't do that. And second of all, you shouldn't blindly trust anyone in power.
Right. Yeah.
That's how they get too
Emma.
much power. Their
I
unions have too much power. My dad's a cop. I get it. You want to fly the flag, show support of your family. Somebody died. I get it. I get it. And I'm going to get hate for this, but you shouldn't blindly trust the police.
No, I completely agree.
Blindly trust anyone who has power over your life, your body, your family, your country.
Yep.
You should never do it.
And by the way, the same thing with the military, because that's why
Yep.
right now they want the military and the police force to look very different. If the left had their way, it would be filled with woke blue-haired lesbians, because those people are far more likely to use their authority to abuse your rights. So be very careful with that. There's some great police out there.
Yes.
But there's also a record number of police quitting. Why? Because of the orders, not from people with guns, but from people with pencils.
The top guys, too, by the way, are the ones that are quitting.
The good police are the ones that
The
are
same
quitting.
thing with the military. The ones that you want to respect, the ones that you want to support,
Yep.
the ones that deserve it, those are the ones quitting because of the policies.
I was out, I told you I was out with some police officers. It's rare that I go out in a very crowded space and put on these guys. And this police officer was probably about 6'4", 240 pounds, and he had a tattoo that just had the Constitution literally written down his thick arm. And I
Yeah,
said,
he
that's
probably
exactly
violates
who
it.
I want to be a policeman. He was
Yeah,
talking
but he
about-
fucking violates it. It's just
I
for
want
show.
someone like that who's very capable, who first off can tell someone, cut it out. Someone will respect the authority of that man. And that man would be able to physically subdue someone without using a gun. Now, I don't know if this is a great police officer. I don't know if he's corrupt, but I'm saying that's a good starting point. Having someone who is incredibly capable, bridled power it's the only type of protection that actually works. You can't have someone negotiate. You can't have someone try and de-escalate from a position of weakness.
From Lesser Evil 8X, if there are no cops between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. to stop crime, how would I be treated if I defended my home with a firearm? Would I be the defendant in that case?
Depends where you live.
Yep.
That's the problem,
I
isn't it?
bet there could be a good lawsuit there if you get charged with something. Hey, what was I supposed to do? There was no one to call.
Yep.
I got to leave it up to the authorities. There were no authorities.
Yep.
So I guess I think that you might get in trouble depending where you live.
Yeah.
Super liberal city, maybe like, I don't know how Pittsburgh is, I apologize, but maybe like a Seattle or Portland, maybe you're in trouble, but I mean, I think you have that right to sue, and it'll take a long time, but I think you will.
Well, that brings us to a place like the UK, where you have people who've been arrested for thwarting burglars. You're being burgled. Thwarting burglars with fake guns. They scared them off. There were people protecting the home from home invaders with, I believe it was his son's fake firearm. And
It could be illegal in Belgium.
well, that was illegal in the UK. That person was actually the one who ended up being charged for instilling fear in somebody with a fake firearm. The person was invading their house. In their own house.
That's the point.
Yeah. That's,
I'm gonna instill fear in anyone inside my house. That's not allowed. Last night, a guy came to my door trying to sell me new fiber cable at 9:02 p.m. I answered the door with a 1911.
he shot him.
I did a 1911 and a German Shepherd pit bull mix.
Good.
That's what
He
I
hung
answered
the
door.
guy up at the beginning of the neighborhood and
He
said,
said,
"Let's
I'm so
be a
sorry, sir. I'm
warning."
just trying to, he had a flashlight on his phone. I'm so sorry, sir. We're just trying to. There's no need. I go. There's no need to be at my house after 9 o'clock at night. My
Yeah.
baby's awake because you just woke him up with a dog.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. By the way, that's the most important thing before a firearm. And I get that firearms are really cool. Dog. Big dog. If you're not allergic to dogs, get a big dog. That is the strongest deterrent, and it's your eyes and ears. You now know that an alarm system in Pittsburgh calls nobody. I will tell you this. I have, and obviously Joe Louis is an incredibly friendly dog, but people, when they see him at the door, they stop.
Oh, yeah.
And they take a step back. And if it's someone who I want to come into the house, they go, oh, great, and they see that he's friendly.
Would your dog be illegal in England because it instills fear?
No, he would be.
Fucking.
So would your dog. Any dog that has any
That makes me so angry.
any dog that has any, not only pit bull in it, but there's no pit bull in Joe Louis, but they extended it to pit bull looking breeds.
Yeah. Well, and he's also
Boxers.
White boxers have been actually taken from their owners in the UK. White boxers. Yep.
And what do they do with them? I'm sure they humanely murder
Yeah, they
them.
euthanize them.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I understand the spirit of it because, yes, you have a lot of pit bull, you have a lot of dog fighting in the inner cities, but again, you have to look at, yes, you have an issue with the breed because of backyard breeding and because of dog fighting, but if you're not assessing it honestly, it's not every single person who has a bully breed. What, a bull mastiff, a boxer, a bulldog, a Dogo Argentino, a King, they're not all the same. But in UK and Canada, just blanket, no pit bull breeds, which extends to any dog that looks like it may have pit bull in it. And I've had to have that conversation many times. There's no pit bull in a Dogo Argentino. It is a different dog, and they're actually bred to be dog agreeable, but high predatory drive for animals that are not dogs. So a cat, there was a guy in my neighborhood, I swear to you, I was walking yesterday, 2 cats outside off leash in the front yard.
What?
And Joe Louis, and of course he stops. You know, like when he sees us, he becomes a statue. And the guy's going, yeah, go get him. Like, he wants his cat to play with my dog. And I'm going, that's a guy who wants a lawsuit.
What a dumb shit.
Yeah.
Does he hate these cats?
2 cats completely off leash in the front yard. And he actually said, go get him, and waved to me. And I just went, no.
What a
I would have
moron,
been a little bit more surprised if he had cats on leash. To be honest.
True, but also, I mean, you expect your cat to die.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he wants them to die. I mean, that happens.
I thought that's a guy who you know would ask for a lawsuit. Like, look, does that make my dog aggressive if your off-leash cat runs up to him? He's a dog. It's a cat.
That's a racist dog, to be honest with you. That's a hateful dog, and he should be put down because of that.
White dog.
It was a white dog and a black cat. Let's just say.
Off leash in the front yard, and he was out there like he was taking them to go. Like, it wasn't like they just happened to be outdoor cats.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was outside with his cats, like with his little baggie. I'm going. I thought one of the selling points of cats is you say they can go to the bathroom in the house, so you don't have to take them out for a walk. Right? That's one of the negatives of Joe Louis. He takes dumps that are the sizes of a horse.
I let my cat wander. I say manifest destiny. Get out there, baby.
Yeah.
Have some fun.
Right.
Kill a bird. But if you die, I mean, we lost one cat that way.
If your cat went out, right?
We did. We had Pumpkin and Spice got eaten by coyotes.
Really?
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm sorry.
That was in Washington, though. We moved on. We left.
What would you be upset if your cat got out and a dog
No, that's the risk you take.
Yeah. You wouldn't be mad at the owner.
The cat needs to stop eating so much tuna.
Yes.
Get up on the fence. Get up on a tree.
Stop making itself so tasty.
Yeah, stop looking so goddamn tasty.
I know. There's nothing you can do.
Stop looking so tasty,
We've got
people
big
in
birds around our area, and they've actually carried off small dogs from backyards. I'm not even kidding. And so we finally let the cat outside, and we're like, well, if it ends, it ends. Let's just make sure it's quick.
Yeah.
Laissez-faire, as they say in Quebec.
Yes.
No, there's no bottled water out here for you, cat.
No, I'm not a cat. I don't want to see them die or get hurt, but look, you're taking your own chances.
Yeah.
Most people who have dogs should not have dogs. That's the truth.
Yeah,
That is the
I agree.
truth.
100%.
Yeah. Apartment.
Well, here's the thing. Most people,
COVID,
it's not little dogs. It's often little dog owners. So the issue is, and I see this all the time when I walk Joe Louis, and you've walked Joe Louis. He's about as perfect of a dog as you can. And this goes back to the idea of bridled strength. He walks really well. He listens. I don't even need to tell him if we're at a crosswalk and I stop walking. He stops. He sits because he's been trained to do that.
Big brain.
But every time I walk him, someone has their dog in a chest harness. By the way, mistake number 1. Retractable leash, chest harness. I know you're an asshole. And so this dog is going on the chest harness, flying around. They go, and this one person goes, you want to go say hi? I said, no, because that dog is out of control. But you know what happens when people have small dogs? They don't realize that dog in its mind is closer to a wolf than how you see it as a Chihuahua and a right? That dog still has an order in its mind and still has behavioral patterns that been a part of its biological evolution for a very long period of time. And guess what? My dog is going to treat it like a dog. When you go, oh, it's okay, and you pick up the dog when it's out of control, you've just rewarded it for that bad behavior, but it's easy, right? I can't pick up Joe Louis.
No.
I can't do it. He better be in control.
Casey
So I go,
tried it.
hey,
I tried.
no, correct him. They just go, oh, it's okay. That dog's never going to improve. And that happens all the time. And just take that to its extreme. It's someone with a cat off leash, 2 cats in the front yard. Ugh. Next, Jeff.
From T. Diddy, question for the crew. When do you consider it a lost cause to bring someone over to the right? Josh, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service, Josh.
Yeah.
What do you think, Gerald? Because these other ones were to me, so.
I don't really think that there ever is a lost cause necessarily. I know that there are people that are going to be almost impossible to kind of win over because of how they think about the world and fundamentally where those beliefs come from.
Sure.
Right? And you're going to have to go like way down. When you guys were talking about freedom of speech in other countries, it's not a freedom of speech issue.
Mm-hmm.
People don't lose the freedom of speech or gain it. It's basically, do I depend on someone else to tell me what I can do and to take care of me? That's what the problem is. People depend on the governments to take care of them. So in this case, I think you really do have the opportunity with most people, if you treat everybody like, hey, I can make sense to them out of issues that don't make sense to them right now. If you take and laser in on those points like we've talked about, where don't get distracted with all of these different things. Pick the most obvious, easy to convey thing that will get them to go, wait, I've never thought about it like that. Or, I would have to agree with that. And that does put me at odds with this entire movement, like the abortion thing. Do you believe that, one day before birth, somebody should be able to have an abortion? Okay, fine. Now we can talk about this, right? Or, like you've said, if I make an exception for these things, can we ban every other abortion, right? The rape and incest.
Right.
Fine, then we can talk about it. If not, then we're never going to be able to talk about it.
Right.
So doing things like that, I think, works far more often than people think. Don't think that people have reasoned positions for everything. Most of the time, like we've said, it's a surgeon who doesn't have time to look into some of these news things, and they can be swayed by headlines or just the quantity of headlines about something and go, oh, this must be bad, or my favorite person who I tend to agree with said this. Doesn't always mean they're right. So if you take the approach of, hey, I'm just going to methodically go through this and do it in kind of a winsome way, not in an offensive way where you're trying to just do a mic drop moment or something like that, you can change most people's minds on a lot of issues.
Or at
that
least
you didn't think.
you can move the needle. And I've always said this, look, think of it this way. Individual conversations versus performance art. So if you were talking with someone who is even, a lifelong Democrat voter, and you were having a conversation, there's a certain sense of, there's this understanding of the humanity within both of you. Okay, you disagree. Where I would say you need to differentiate is, let's say you're in a group of people, I don't know, you're at Thanksgiving dinner, and then you have one person who is
club in New Jersey on Thursday to show that the former president never deemed classified reports personal. I think they can be both. In other words, they can be formally classified, but they can be personal. Brat, whether Trump's challenge to the indictment under the PRA is premature. Asked him that too. The former president has argued he was allowed to take the documents from the White House as his personal records. He says not only is it premature, said Brad, it never happened. Reading from the transcript, part of which was in the indictment itself, Bratt emphasized Trump dismissed the documents, discussed the documents as highly sensitive. He doesn't say there, I can show you this because it's personal. In fact, he's saying the opposite. It was a classified document that is now a personal document that Trump has as a memento, and he has the right to do that as the president. You can be the judge of whether that's prudent or not, but that's why he's the president. Now, Bratt recounted the Bedminster exchange between Trump aides and a ghostwriter from Mark Meadows. And I don't know what the problem is about talking about classified documents. Joe Biden just got totally exonerated on that. Nope, not even a big deal. He talked to his ghostwriter about it, whatever. Democrats in Congress, whatever, who cares, He's exonerated. No, he's not. Yes, he is, okay. And so we heard that with Kamala. And different standards, obviously. Hey, a new update. Yay, right, a new update. Judge asks about the differences. Hey, just like we asked. Judge asks about the differences between the Trump and the Biden case. Yeah, they're just mocking them for this. Trump's attorneys have repeatedly raised Jack Smith's probe, or Robert Hur's probe into Joe Biden, saying that Biden has previously kept documents and he wasn't prosecuted. Cannon followed up on that at Thursday's hearing. She asked Jack Smith about other presidents facing criminal exposure for their handling of classified matters. Baratt said that the National Archives, NARA, right, Deborah Stidel Wall, who was not happy with Trump, referred Biden and former VP Mike Pence's handling of the documents several years ago. Neither Pence nor Biden were prosecuted, and classified documents found in their possession after leaving office. Baratt stressed that the circumstances around Trump were unique, and that no other president has faced criminal charges. He said even with other former presidents, there was never a situation remotely similar to this one. And I get so tired of that, like this obstruction charge. Like, give me a break. Trump had the FBI agents in there at the conference table, and he came in there. He's like, "Can we get you guys some lemonade? You know, how can we help you?" Because they were there negotiating and having a back and forth over it. And then suddenly we learned that the FBI, they were not there to negotiate. They were there scoping out the cameras that they wanted to come seize. They were there just literally making their case. Because they're corrupt partisan hands. All right. And shout out to the FBI and the guys in the chat. So, all right, that's what's cooking over there. You can see, I think there'll be significantly more updates on that as these two issues get argued. But there's a lot of activity. So yesterday, that just dropped is the replies, the response and the reply. So the reply to those two responses. So Trump filed the original motion to dismiss for being unconstitutionally vague, motion to dismiss because the Presidential Records Act. Then Jack Smith responded, then Trump replied. So we got those dropped yesterday. And they must have came skidding in when we were on the show because I was looking for those potentially for the show yesterday. So I think they came in relatively late. But all right, that's what's cooking over there. We had an interesting exchange. Trump was on with Greg Kelly over on Newsmax, and he is getting asked about his second term. You know, what are you going to do the second time that you're in office? Or, you're going to just keep the same DOJ? You're going to keep Merrick Garland? You're going to keep Christopher Wray still? What are these changes going to be in your new administration that's going to fix the current situation and the environment that we're in? Where's Trump?
I wasn't like in the Washington establishment. It's an establishment. I was a New York person, and I didn't come here much. I was here, they say, the press says 17 times. I didn't know people like normally you would. And I put great people in, but I also put people that I made a mistake with. I made a mistake with some people I put in. Obviously, it wasn't a grave mistake because we had no wars. I got out of wars. I rebuilt the military. We defeated ISIS. All the different things we did. Lowest taxes ever. We got the biggest tax cuts ever, the biggest regulation cuts ever. But nevertheless, I now know people. I believe Washington probably at the upper levels better than anybody. And I think I'm going to have some unbelievable people. And I have unbelievable people that want to be with us. I have, as per the first part of the interview, tremendous people, some of the most talented people. They want to come into this administration. So we'll see what happens.
All right, we'll see what happens. Yeah, so, all right, that's Trump. And some updates. He's down in Florida, and he's got the hearing taking place today. Of course, they shoved this guy out here. This was the guy who's apparently employee number 5. I listened to some of his interview, and I don't think it's consequential at all. To be honest, I thought that they dropped this after, what happened that was bad for Joe? Maybe the Supreme Court ruling? When was it? This was a follow-up to something. Like they came out with this guy like employee number 5. And I listened to him, and he's like, not giving us anything material. Like, he helped move some boxes around. Like, okay. It's fine. He's allowed to move his boxes around if they're his personal records, so thanks for that. But, all right. Anyways, that's what's cooking on over there. I can't remember what it was. It's at the tip of my tongue. There was some really good news for Trump or some really bad news for Joe, and then they just sprung this guy out like the next day. It felt like a forced news story. I forget what it was. Anyways, so that's what's happening there with Trump. Now, let's see what's cooking over with Joe Biden. Not much. So it's March 14th. Yesterday, the president departed Joint Base Andrews, went to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Oh, yeah. So while Trump is, bogged down with his criminal prosecutions, he's traveling around to the battleground states. So he's going to Wisconsin. He's going to do some campaign events there today. He's in Michigan.
No!
He's doing a camp.
I
he's
got
doing
the
his
yield,
campaign. He's
asshole.
doing, Michigan and Wisconsin, and he's visiting very important states that he needs to win. Trump is unfortunately bogged down in Florida at his classified documents hearing, so he's not able to campaign with the rest of them. So Trump, did you see, these numbers, Jack Smith's prosecution numbers? It's like, it's like in the $30 to $40 million range now over these years. So think about that. Like, that is a government-funded campaign drain, right? Trump, if they spend 30 million, 40 million, Trump's got to come out 50 to defend it, easy. And so that is a government-funded attack vector that Trump has to come out of pocket, private money or public money based on his campaign contributions. So it's just wild that it's happening in the campaign. And now he's bogged down. He's got to go back there and be at this hearing, which is a very important hearing in Florida. So meanwhile, the president's campaigning all over the place. We're living in just a totally corrupt environment, and we're watching it in real time. So the election has to be too big to rig, as Trump has said. Over on C-SPAN, there's some weird stuff cooking today as well. Now, we have a little bit of a duel that was taking place today in front of the Senate. And actually I have this. Well, let's pull this up because we have this on X. This just dropped as I was sitting down here to get scheduled this morning. There's like this dueling battle. So Chuck Schumer came out. He's like, we need new elections in Israel. And then Mitch McConnell came out and he said, this is the most egregious thing I've ever heard. So it's a wild thing that's happening. Let's see if we can just grab this. C-SPAN has like, a million different accounts. And let's see if we can find this one. Yeah, here it is. We got a dueling battle here. And here's Senator Schumer. He comes out, drops this one, and then McConnell comes out, and he calls him grotesque. This all took place this morning on C-SPAN here.
5 months into this conflict, it is clear that Israelis need to take stock of the situation and ask, must we change course? At this critical juncture, I believe a new election is the only way to allow for a healthy and open decision-making process about the future of Israel. At a time when so many Israelis have lost their confidence in the vision and direction of their government. I also believe a majority of the Israeli public will recognize the need for change, and I believe that holding a new election, once the war starts to wind down, would give Israelis an opportunity to express their vision for the post-war future. Of course, the United States cannot dictate the outcome of an election, nor should we try. That is for the Israeli.
No, that's only for the CIA, They're the only ones who can rig elections in America.
Public to decide.
Not the Senate, yeah.
Public that I believe understands better than anybody that Israel cannot hope to succeed as a pariah opposed by the rest of the world. As a democracy, Israel has the right to choose its own leaders, and we should let the chips fall where they may. But the important thing is that Israelis are given a choice. There needs to be a fresh debate about the future of Israel after October 7th. In my opinion, that is best accomplished by holding an election.
Wow, so that's a pretty big deal, I think, right? Like the leader of the Democrats in the Senate is calling for the Israeli leader to go, get him out of there. I think that's a pretty big thing, I think, because I thought that they were pretty pro-Israel not that long ago, actually. Didn't Joe Biden just go over there? Like he landed over there? Am I mistaken about that? I'm pretty sure there's very, very strong support for Israel. So now, what's happening? The wedge in this party is continuing to explode and to fissure. Interesting. Maybe they should stand on principles and values rather than playing politics with every single, niche of the demographics that exists, trying to promise everybody everything. Turns out no one gets anything. So, okay, that is from him. Then McConnell came back out. He's like, what the heck did you say about Israel, Puck?
The Jewish state of Israel serves an ally that acts like one. The people of Israel, at home and in captivity, deserve America's support. In and Israel's unity government and security cabinet deserve the deference befitting a sovereign democratic country.
All right, we're gonna see
Primary
how.
obstacles,
Well,
peace in Israel's region, or genocidal terrorists
whoa.
Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, to slaughter innocent people and corrupt leaders of the Palestinian Authority who have repeatedly rejected peace deals from multiple Israeli governments.
Let's see how fired up Mitch
Observers
gets.
cannot keep these clear distinctions. Ought to refrain from weighing in. It is grotesque
Whoa, Mitch!
and hypocritical
Whoa!
for Americans who hyperventilate about foreign interference in our own democracy to call for the removal of the democratic
Oh, he's pissed.
leader of Israel.
This is Mitch on like level 10.
This
baby.
is unprecedented.
Whoa.
You should not treat fellow democracies this way at all.
Yeah,
Things
Mitch.
that upset left-wing
Get him,
activists
Mitch.
are not the Prime Minister's policies. They are Israel's policy. Make no mistake, the Democratic Party doesn't have an anti-Bibi problem. It has an anti-Israel problem. Israel is not a colony of America. Its leaders serve at the pleasure of the party in power in Washington. Only Israel's citizens should have a say in who runs their government.
No, so should Senator Leader Chuck Schumer, who's calling for their leader to go. So, it's wild to watch this. I think they have a major problem on their hands. There's a fracture and fissure there that it feels like they're backtracking big time. Like they know that they're losing the Palestinian, votes essentially in very key places like Michigan, where Joe Biden is going today, right? Is that where he's at today? Yeah, he's in Michigan today. Isn't that interesting, right? So Michigan was a big state, and they're like, oh, great, we're going to lose, 100,000, 200,000 votes because there's a big Palestinian population there, or pro-Palestinian population there. So I think it's about demographics, honestly. Like, they just, Schumer comes out and he's like, yeah, I got to do something more. Those airdrops of food were not good enough. And now they're hitting the panic button a little bit. So that's curious. We'll see what happens. Joe Biden, we'll see if he talks about it when he's there. He's going to be visiting Michigan the other day. So that's going to continue to heat up, obviously. And that's what's taking place in the Senate. So it feels like a big deal. It feels like the Senate calling for another leader to basically, be thrown out. Not really ideal. Now, Joe Biden has been very busy talking about his stutter and trying to paper that whole thing over. So he posted this. He's talking about his stutter, which he doesn't, he may have had a stutter, but that is separate and apart from, dementia and senility. Here's Joe. He says, last year, a young man named Harry wrote me a letter about what it's like to live with a stutter, like an actual stutter for a young man. Tonight, I met him and his family in Milwaukee and shared some techniques I use to overcome mine. Like what, methamphetamines? My message to Harry was simple. Don't let anyone tell you what you can or can't do. And then he snickered. Gross, Joe. Back away from the kid. Back away. All right. So Joe, he's not demented, okay? He's a young man. His brain is functional. All right. Thanks, Joe, for your stutter statements. All right, now, we also have Janet Yellen, all right? A lot of people are starting to get real concerned and irritated about the economy, even though they keep telling us the numbers are amazing and that the GDP is going up and they say everything's incredible, it's going to be a soft landing, blah, blah, blah. People know that inflation is still compounding, you still feel it everywhere. And now, Janet Yellen is kind of walking this back a little bit. So, yeah, we are actually seeing the increase in costs. Americans are feeling inflation. She ultimately apologized for her threats, saying that inflation was transitory. So basically, if you're here today, you're smarter than Janet Yellen, because we were all, 2 years ago going transitory. You don't need to be Secretary of Treasury to know that. obviously it's a lie. So here, and they know it's a lie, but they just lie to us. They just say, well, I'll just say I'm sorry later.
So under President Biden's policies from the month he came into office, January of 2021 to today, prices have gone up 18.5%. I think people are feeling that. You're seeing that in the polls.
Americans are seeing the costs of some goods that are important to them, like rent, having
Not. It's fucking coming down good.
That are important to them.
My backyard's flooded.
Like rent, like where they live. Come on. Like the place where they have a roof over their head. Like, yeah, because otherwise, if they can't pay their rent, they're homeless.
increased. Many prices are well off their highs. Gasoline, eggs, other things, TVs, used cars and trucks that people buy are well off their highs. But as I said, President Biden knows that high costs are a burden to many American households, and it's his number one priority to do what he can to lower costs.
Yeah, Midwest was showing it last night on his stream, and it hit us in the middle of the night. Scared the one German Shepherd so much he was in bed with us.
That's right. Now this is the clip where she says that I regret saying it was transitory. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
In 2021, though, you did say that inflation was transitory. Do you regret saying that now?
I regret saying it was transitory. It has come down, but I think transitory means...
Actually, I think he did it on his Callahan channel.
To most people.
Yeah. Okay, so... Why is she what either she's a liar or incompetent, right? Which one is it? Neither's good. It's not like a mistake. Like, we all know. We all sat there and said, hey, you can't print like 25% of all of the money that's in circulation. A quarter of new currency into the current system is going to cause permanent inflation. Prices will never go back. And I hate math and numbers, but it just seems obvious. Sheesh. All right, so that's good. Sheesh. Now the president apparently, well, someone mentioned this on the show yesterday, which was, I think, very interesting.
Rick Hill did.
A Hunter Biden trial, gun charges, scheduled for the week of June 3rd. Now, I'll be shocked if this happens on June 3rd. Honestly, if this starts on June 3rd. I think the same justifications that the defense is using in many of Trump's cases, to postpone things, will also be used in this case. And there'll probably be something that gets triggered. There'll probably be some form of deal. I doubt that it really happens. It'd be great if it did, but I doubt that it does. I think more likely than not, this date was actually kind of set, so the next date that they come will be after the election. So
No fucking lights on. This idiot.
5 months out. If they had a 6-month continuance, in other words, they set it in December. So we'll see. But there's interesting stuff going on over there. I think the DOJ is just so they're in a circular prosecution now. And this is like another thing that possibly happened. They look totally incompetent. And they're basically prosecuting the president's son. The president's son is saying his daddy's DOJ is corrupt. So I think the judge will have a lot of inclination to find some justification for postponing this until after the election. It is still on the docket.
Yeah, I saw Midwest streaming about it last night.
Let's say hello and good morning.
I knew it was coming. It hit us in the middle of the night. So hard, scared the shit out of the German Shepherd. He was up in one of them anyway, was up in bed with us. Refusing to get down.
It is a beautiful Thursday, my friends. We got some donos in the house. What's up, Crash? What's up, Rocky? Born. I'm good, man. How you is? Things are good over here. It's a beautiful day. Donor Girl says we're led by idiots. So sad. Yeah, it's not really a deal. Idiots or incompetence. R. Hurd says, decision on Fannie's case is imminent. It is. Anytime today or tomorrow. And we're expecting it any minute. 816 Kid says, now that I'm a membo, got to figure out how to watch this and Mug Club at the same time. Aren't we now after it? Are we now after Mug Club? So we're not competing with them? Shout out to our friends over there. Judy Crowder. That's true. Roy MC says, Americans are seeing some items that are important to them increasing.
Jesus.
All? Is she saying it isn't a priority for the government?
I'm getting off the freeway.
I think she said it was Biden's #1 priority, but it doesn't really feel like that because he keeps spending money. You know, it's like non-stop. It's like around and around the go.
This shit is coming down hard. That's my wipers are on full blast.
Announcing over $300 million for Ukraine, for example. So there's a lot of that. So, hey, what's going on? We had in the after party. We missed some donos yesterday. Thank you, Donut, for flagging them for us. So Roy MC grew in the house yesterday. Says not many of us on locals today after the way it performed yesterday. Yeah, it might have been after sure. Hopefully people come back. I think it's looking a little bit better now. It seems like the chat is working. They had an update, and I think Christina was holding their feet to the fire on that one.
Yeah, he's in the Pittsburgh area, so this is on the way there.
So Mayor Eric Adams was talking about immigration, and he posted this on X. He says, we call New York City the Port-au-Prince of America. We feel the pain of our Haitian neighbors. And to the people of Haiti and our Haitian community here, we love you, whatever. And someone wrote, in community knows, no one calls New York City Port-au-Prince of America. Okay, in Harvard's there. And they looked it up. They linked to Wikipedia, and I saw another version of the community note. They had a Google search, and it said the same. Like no one had ever said it other than Nick Adams. So, but you know, our leaders are delusional and they are living in a little fantasy land. That was the post. Sandy says Viva's guest McDougal gave a special thanks to him and all lawyers for covering this and informing the public. He was right. The guiding you all do is keeping people calm through this. The legal system is frustrating. Adding that frustration to the injustice to the
Pittsburgh area.
That's a good comment, Sandy. Yeah, shout out to McDougal. You know, and I really believe in that. Like when I was practicing,
not Philly. That's opposite side.
That there was no advocates for the defense. Honestly, you know, it felt like everything you were doing was like being dumped all over. And
unless he's in Philly and I didn't know about it.
Attorneys need advocates too, because the defense attorneys in the courtroom, they also can't go out there and defend themselves in the court of public opinion the way that we can, the way that I can defend them, right? You know, from like having sat in that chair, having kind of known what's going on, I can in many ways, you know, be their voice because they're limited by the corporate. And I know, you know, I knew when I was going through stuff and there was corrupt garbage going on.
Oh, close to Philly?
I'm
Okay.
going to show everybody.
Oh, where you're at now? Okay. Sorry, I'm using the YouTube app. I'm not seeing chat. All the chat.
Where you can kind of give them an assistance for the public opinion.
It goes away fast.
Thank you, Cindy.
At least I'm using the right account today.
The monitoring of the vid was also done the same way via the sewer system.
The fucking video last night, Prism kept crashing on me. And I put that part 3 where all the action happened in members only.
Says hello, Lockers, and hello, Rob. Locky's here saying, imagine a country like Serbia, which is the reason Yugoslavia doesn't exist anymore, doing elections better than so-called, quote, democracy like America. Yeah. They are running elections in Serbia, rerunning due to election fraud allegations. What a primitive system. Why don't they count fresh printed mail-in votes unsupervised for weeks until they get the outcome they want, you know?
That was definitely different.
Yeah, or outsourcing to third-party contractors.
I'd rather it be calm, though. I mean, it was all good right up until that incident. I was helping people out, I was doing my job, writing letters for people.
Internal video recordings, for example. NY's here says, so it may sound
and his dad came in and tried to see if there was any way if he apologized.
In Georgia?
Yeah, I'm sure Rain-X would help.
I will
I just go through so many fucking windshields.
Just in limbo.
This one's already got a good crack in it already. This is my fucking second windshield, but
Well,
this
that
one's
was
been
a
repaired
possibility.
3 times.
I said that a worse outcome than having
Camera's right on one of the cracks, but you can't really see it from that angle.
this case goes over to a competent prosecutor. That would be worse. Let's say Kenny gets disqualified, they turn it over to somebody who's like, give us
Yeah, record Kensington.
incredible work. That means by books. Like, we're dealing with one of the dumbest lawyers, maybe in all 50 states, who's the DA. Maybe the dumbest DA in all 50 states. Like, they couldn't get the indictment right. He was arguing to reincarcerate Harrison Floyd. When we knew, like, you just need a warning and go back. Like, that's it. It's not even, like, you thought he was on a TV show. So, you kind of want her to be the symbol of the Trump prosecution. See them, look at America, this is what they're doing. This is what they're prosecuting doing. It delegitimizes the whole effort, like the whole campaign. You know, one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch. Her narrative overwhelms all the other cases. And they'll try to smear Trump with stolen digital stuff and like the common stuff, all over the news about that, and continue to be slightly about it. So again, it would be bad if it went over the case with somebody very competent. They got the case on track and started trial in August. And Trump got convicted. That'd be bad. That'd be worse than Fannie. I'd rather have Fannie out there, front and center, like a good old guy, coming in and showing her stuff. As Andy says, I'm wondering if Judge Cannon will rush the motions but have subjects not currently at the Supreme Court so that they can be appealed with the immunity case during the study. Not currently at notice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Supreme Court's going to want to like bind them together. I think they'll want to come up with a standards for immunity. Immunity, I think, has some overlap with the presidential immunity law. Only thing that I guess I think is separate immunity. Because the Presidential Elections Act is personally not applicable.
Good morning.
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Same old, man. Busy as hell. What's up?
I know Doc told you that we're hiring this girl for the front desk, right?
Yep. I already got the desktop. It should be delivered today.
Are you gonna set it all up?
Yeah, I'll be out there probably tomorrow or Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, it's starting Monday.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be ready. And I'm gonna move that desktop phone to the front desk too. So.
Yeah.
And then I'll just reprogram it to where, or even set up extensions and stuff like that to where she could just forward it to whoever's working at the time.
Okay. And then, so you'll put that, can you put it on paper and all those shit, like the extensions and stuff?
What do you mean?
I'm gonna have her throw everything in Teams for now.
What do you mean?
Like if a phone call comes in and she needs to get a hold of the case manager,
Yeah.
I was gonna have her put it in Teams.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because there's no way to really.
Yeah. Do we have? Can I get her info so I can set her up with an email? So I'll have that ready and I'll put it on the desktop and everything there for her.
Yeah. What all do you need again?
Just name, personal email, and phone number.
Okay. I'll go get it from her right now.
All right.
Right now. Yeah, I just want to make sure the computer and the phone's ready to go.
Yeah. I'll be, like I said, either tomorrow or Saturday. Either one, I'll definitely get it done.
I just spent like a half an hour showing her culture, but I'm going to spend some time with her Monday. Either that or I'm going to have Courtney do it.
All right.
Courtney would probably be good for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Doc. I appreciate it.
No problem, brother.
Bye.
Yep, bye.
You move weights around, you're going to chip the diamonds. So it's more like artwork, you know. Obviously nobody's actually lifting weights on that. I would guess. I don't know, maybe they are. NY says, but thank you. Trillionaire status is certainly the goal. NY says he needs to get the Plum book and fire everyone and rehire the good ones. Oh, Trump saying, yeah, fire everybody, get the good ones back. Plum book or political hires within the federal government from NY. Rocky says, jokes on Chuckles the Clown, Schumer, Israel overwhelmingly supports their prime minister. Yeah, and I wonder how that's going to play, locally, domestically, like the political sphere here. It seems like there's a hard fissure. And is Chuck Schumer Jewish? Somebody says? I don't even know. Crash says, who would ever have any confidence or trust in Schumer? House Res to the border, and Chuck Schumer's handling of it tells me all I need to know. Yeah, well, and then they created their own little fake garbage bill and tried to shove that back down on the Republicans, and we had dum-dums like Langford who didn't recognize what the heck they were doing. Blocky says, it's funny because Schumer calls me a terrorist for wanting a new leader in America, so I echo Schumer's sentiment. Get rid of the current fascist regime in America. Well, Roy MC says, Americans are seeing some items that are important. Things like it is. And Chubby says, it makes me so mad that Biden and his goons say he has a stutter with confusion. Stammer passes quickly. When I start to stutter, it can go for upwards of 1 minute before I can even get myself to stop making the sound my brain is stuck on. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and thank you for the clarity and the context on that, Chubby. Yeah, and I've seen that interacting with people, obviously, with the stutter, and I've seen that it's something that feels deeper than just a stammer. Or just flubbing all over your words. That happens to me here regularly. Stumbling all over myself. Trying to read and enunciate and formulate a thought and read ahead, all these things. But you kind of get caught up, tripped up on your words. But I don't think that's the problem with Joe, right? He's not over-processing. He's just kind of, he's just short-circuiting a little bit up there. That's what it's like. AKA dementia. Hey, what's up? This old guy, it's your birthday today? Get out of here. Hey, oh my gosh, Yisrael says, need to sound the alarm on Trump picking Tim Scott for the literal death sentence. Honestly, yeah, I saw that his two that were being floated were Tim Scott and Kristi Noem. And I'm not really down for either one of them. Now, let's be real, okay? Like, I'm not going to be one of these guys who's like, if Trump picks someone, like, I'm out.
No.
There's people out there. I'm out.
Not since the National Firearms Act. That was the first attack on it, and it's pretty much gotten rid of everything.
To win the election. Like, to win the election. So we've got to pick somebody who's going to help him get over the margin on that. And, I don't know about Tim Scott or... maybe Tim Scott. But Kristi Noem, I don't think. I mean, she's got some skeletons in the closet that are not going to look so good. I think. But maybe people will look over that anyway. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. Alright, lots to say, lots to think about. This old guy in the house. It's your birthday, this old guy? Whose weights are those? Liberace's? Says G-Gum. What's up, G-Gum? Yisraela says, I bet the DOJ is putting pressure on the judge. Yeah, I sure hope not. And Sandy says, if Fannie gets Fulton County DQ'd based on prosecutorial misconduct, is there any recourse for all defendants to be made whole for attorney's fees? I don't think so. I think they have to file. So I was never practicing Georgia, but
I agree, but I don't
complaints. I think for malicious prosecution, claim damages. They have all spent so much
no,
money.
I agree with you.
To believe them to the point
they basically disarm people as they're entering town.
Yeah, basically you're filing.
He could have guns, but they couldn't.
A claim against the government, just like you would if you were injured, in prison or something. You filed a claim, the state allowed me to be injured, or the guard injured me or something.
For safety.
Or, any other, basically any negligence.
Never thought of it that way.
Liability from the state, file a claim, and that'd be like a civil lawsuit.
But I mean, as far as codified,
prosecution.
I mean that his edict was, on its face, obviously very unconstitutional. But so I mean, for the National Firearm Act, that's
legitimate charges
pretty much
and not these novel interpretations of these indictments against 45.
The law. They wrote law where they finally wrote actual laws.
And remember what
restricting the Second
we saw
Amendment.
historically with Nathan Wade. Like, his record keeping is terrible. I don't think he has good notes. I don't think. I saw a comment in here that her team is.
The NFA is not an amendment. It's just.
I mean. Not really. Anna Cross is gone. We saw Adam Abate.
And they've just been building on it since then.
And Nathan Wade didn't do a thing in court. So
yeah, right. Killed it.
I know you're being facetious, Mr. Brownstein. So what are they doing? So they would have a manila file folder that they would just pass off to the prosecutor, and this new prosecutor would be like, I gotta read through all of this. Yeah, who knows? What's up, Bonnie? Good to see you. Good morning. What's up, Just Dia? We got Bermuda B. Said 1 month in as a member. Love the channel. Wish you had been my law professor. I would love your class. That would be fun. I've always thought about that. I don't think I would ever become an actually do it. I'd probably like it for like 2 days. But it's fun. I like.
Well, they did call William Wallace a terrorist, so.
Learn new things and rephrase new things and have ideas to throw. So we do here on the show. I learned a lot in the process. So law school was fun. I enjoyed law school. I had some really, really good professors, like some pretty terrible professors, but you can really make it. Like, I had some very memorable experiences, particularly constitutional law, which is my favorite.
Happy Pi Day, everybody!
They can be very formative.
Speedway was selling whole pizzas for $3.14.
Good mentors. Really, really, really can last the whole lifetime.
All they had left when I got in there, though, was cheese. Just cheese.
So shout out to our teachers and our mentors and people that care for other people, their well-being. One kind act.
It's just PI. Get it right, dirty. Oh, that means it's one of my boss's birthdays, too.
And then I've got, let's see, this one's from Bonnie. Here's a little bit better report on the Trump case, the woodchip bill. Awesome, okay. Yeah, we might go into this on the show today. Ooh, wow, that's good, okay. Here's the latest. I was trying to find if anybody also was doing a live thread on it. Here's Bonnie. And detail says, I mentioned TikTok while texting a family member and suddenly got an invite from Google to download TikTok. Of course they're listening to you. Yeah. Now here's this one from Bonnie from Wall Street Journal today.
Ides of March. Not many people even know what that means. I'm sure you do since you brought it up, but yeah.
So what, this is the
when they killed Caesar.
Wow, yeah, that's okay, so 50%. Bleach is up, 75%. Milk's up, 20%. Look at all this. Nutrition bars. Everything's up, it's crazy. Ramen is over $1. Get out of here. I don't think I bought ramen in a long time because I have about 200 packs somewhere in the house.
Yeah, all we did was add a month to it.
Got plenty of it. But is it $1 a pack now? Oh my gosh. This is outrageous. Potatoes are up. Paper towels are up. Yeah. Nutrition bars are way up. Like protein bars? You seen those protein bars, man? Ridiculous. Yeah, ramen. I ate a lot of ramen growing up, man. A lot of ramen in college, a lot of ramen in law school. Baby wipes are up. Deodorant's up. Oh my gosh. Well, don't sacrifice on the deodorant. All right, so yeah, it's not good. Ramen is way up. Thank you, CCP. Yeah, I remember when ramen was like $5 for $1. Like not long ago. Like they're like 20 cents a piece. In fact, they're $1 a piece. Maynard's has 50 cents over there. Yeah, last time I bought it was 25 cents. That's kind of what I recall. It's like $5 for $1. Like it was like sales. When I was in college, it was sales for like $2 for $1. Like, you know, like, oh my gosh, they hit the lottery. 10 for $1, load up.
That's a joke.
Bonnie says, Dems better watch out, saying they want an election in Israel. New elections will usher in a more right-wing prime minister who's leading. The Israelis want a more aggressive stance against Hamas and Hezbollah. Think of how the U.S. would have voted if the election were held after 9/11. What could possibly go wrong in a new election? Well, Chuck Schumer has their best interest at heart, I'm sure. That's a good point, Bonnie. I don't know anything about the politics, you know, what that situation domestically Israel looks like, but I know the tensions are certainly high, obviously, in that region. It feels like I'm interested in the conflict. Like, what are our politicians doing the same? Because I have concerns that they're going to snare us in more conflict because they are. We don't have a good track record here with this administration.
Yeah, even you, Brutus? Even you?
Woodchip Bill says, thank you for that report, Woodchip Bill. Bonnie shared this one. Speaker Mike Johnson diagnoses Joe Biden's mental decline after meeting with him and leaves him stunned because of unfit. Biden is not on his A game. And I think I saw a clip of that on X. Let's see. Mike Johnson might have actually posted that. And yeah, I didn't actually watch that one. Let's see if I posted that. This is Mike Johnson. Yeah, here it is. No. That was not with Jesse Waters, but yeah, Biden's not on his A game. Here it is. This came over from Benny Johnson.
Do you think the president is mentally fit?
Jesse, I've spent a little bit of time with him, and I'm sad to tell you that I don't think he is. And the reason I'm sad is because we are projecting weakness on the world stage. All of our adversaries around the world can see and follow exactly what you and I and the American people are. We have a weak president, and that's why our enemies are acting so provocatively right now. This is not a game. It's really not a laughing matter. It's a dangerous situation, and this election in November can't get here soon enough.
When you say you spent time with the president and you've determined, in your opinion, that he's not mentally fit enough to be president,
yes, you did.
What do you mean? What did you see?
I don't mean to be uncharitable here. Look, we respect the office, right?
Yes, you did.
They can't change how they age. Everybody ages differently. I'm just telling you.
With a lantern in its mouth, so it looks like it's breathing fire, even though dinosaurs didn't breathe fire.
He's very slow. And
Looks like a dragon dinosaur. Yeah, that's what you saw.
The Speaker of the House and the President of the United States should be able to have a meeting. I needed to talk to him about very serious.
It's like a swap shop there. In the summertime, they do.
When he finally relented, he invited 5 others to join us.
Giant garage sales and stuff like that there. What do they call it? I can't even think of it.
I think that these two offices, the persons who hold these two offices, need to be able to communicate more regularly, and that's been difficult for this president. And frankly, I think it's because they don't want to put.
This is usually the cheapest gas station in town too, $3.43.
Again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. These are just the facts that everybody can see.
Yeah, we can see it, and the fact that they keep trying to cover that's like wild. It's hysterical. It's not actually funny. It's like, hey man, dude is not well. He doesn't know where he is. He can't hardly talk. And when there are moments when he does go off script, he speaks the truth, which is opposite to the administration's stated policies. For example, he says that Laken Riley's murderer was illegal, because he was, or is. So, interesting that Mike Johnson said that. I think he's absolutely right about that. And the fact that they can't lie to us is not surprising. So, very nice to see you. What's up, Lenny M. What's up, Po Boys in the house? We got Melissa is here. We got some donos on the tubes. Thank you, guys. Gordon B. What's up, Gordon B? Says, Gord from Canada, a.k.a. Chinada. Chinada. Is that how I say it? Or Chinada? Chinada. It sounds better. Chinada. Canada and Chinada. Says, Rob, you the best. Man, I got some friends in Chinada. And I don't know what's going on up there, man. Gordon, you were talking about this, I think, a day or two ago. And the conversation was they're now putting people in jail, in prison for speech crimes, I guess, hate crimes. And that can include a lifetime. So we went through it yesterday. Anyways, thanks for being here. Gordon from China. We got Ice Girl says, you see Tish James's new lawsuit with JBS Foods for selling beef in New York? Now, 2 others I hear, ABC being sold. Fox has 2 lawsuits from Dominion. No, I did not see those. I think I saw Tish James, you know, she's suing a bunch of people. And I saw something she posted on X about that, but ABC I did not see being sold, and Fox is against being sued by Dominion. Well, maybe Fox shouldn't have settled with them for, you know, $1 billion. And they wouldn't be back to bite off more. Thank you for those donos. Very nice. We got Lenny M. Lisa is here. Cheekham's in the house. And we got Kermit. Rose for Life says, I remember going through inflation during the Carter years. It hits those on fixed income in a terrible way. And if you saved all your life savings are gradually eroded away. Yeah, I think it's a horrific thing that people don't even realize is happening until it's too late. It's the frog in the boiling pot, right? If you throw a frog into a pot that's already hot, the frog jumps out. If you put the frog in the water and then turn it up, apparently the frog doesn't jump out and boils to death. But you got to turn the heat up very slowly. And is that a myth that's been busted? They probably never tried that, right? Because they might kill the frogs. I don't know. Maybe they did. I don't know. But that's what's happening. They promise you that this spending is going to help you. So they'll create money out of thin air, which devalues your currency. Then they'll give money into the markets to, into the industry, into the economy, to say that it's good for GDP. So they inflate the numbers there, so everything's fake and rigged. And everybody's, transacting and investing based on fake rigged numbers. Then when you get some dividends, you spend some money, whatever, they tax that on top of that. So they're taxing and grifting off this fake money that they're shoving into the economy. So it's all just a big racket. And at some point, it's going to fail. Like, how much?
I'm actually ordering one of those next year. Although that smoked turkey I had this year was pretty fucking good.
Bail out.
Plus it keeps for a long time, because it's smoked.
Bitcoin right now, like, it's going up dramatically.
Only homeless? I don't see any of them on there.
So it's still, it's up dramatically, like over the last.
Not good weather to be riding trains.
Even a week or two.
Are you kidding, man? They don't need to ride trains anymore. They've got a debit card. They can just take an Uber. Or a bus.
Anyways.
Free tickets.
Yeah, this is an interesting one too, about the difference in the foods. So
they're going to be inside the containers?
Sugar, creaming agent. This is in the American version. In the UK, it's just, oats. Rolled oats. Why do they do this to us here in America? What is all this crap in there for? For taste? Folic acid, riboflavin? I'm presuming this is accurate. What is all this? What is all this chemical garbage in it? Preservatives? So it doesn't go bad? Is that the problem? Tyrannical says, Dems don't get that half the country or more think progressives are radical idiots. By embracing the radicals, they push away the middle. Yeah, and I saw another great comment from Israela. It says, the Dems are going to lose even more Jewish voters by placating their progressives. Well, that's that fracture that I was talking about. Prior to 10-7, there was, maybe an unspoken split, between those two camps, but they were both pretty solidly blue, right? Both sides of that. This conflict has really created a wedge between them, and the Democrats were promising things to both sides. And they kind of just forgot about it as long as there was enough unity there, and they hated
Not
Trump.
all of them. No, you're right.
Trump
The
was
veterans
this
don't.
unifying force that everybody
Or the veterans
let bygones be bygones as long
have
as
to
we
jump
figure
through
this out.
tons of hoops for it to happen.
I don't think so. Now they're like, wait a minute. Why did Joe Biden go fly over to Israel? And then, if he's flying over to Israel, why is he now dropping food?
Well, yeah, you know, I'm being
What is happening? Right. So there's
enigmatic,
logically
but
there's logical inconsistencies there, and it feels like they're trying to placate to both sides at the same
there's
time.
never
So
no,
you can see
everything
that
is
it
never
feels like
everybody.
it's
So
disingenuous, and now both sides are angry. Which again is what happens when you don't stand on principles and you
yeah,
don't
they've
say
used them
you
up.
be everything to everybody.
They're done.
Johnny Five says, how much of our food supply is made or packaged?
I actually called for an appointment the other day, and they said call back in a couple weeks. I'm like, well, I mean, can't we just schedule it?
Yeah, or they just keep
weeks
shipping
out
poison
now?
to us. We all just keep getting fatter and dying with chemicals.
They're like, yeah, well, our schedule doesn't go that far because we're not sure which doctors are going to be here then.
Whenever Trump House Republicans,
Like, how the fuck do you do that? How the fuck can you tell me you can't schedule an appointment?
Well, nothing. If whenever Trump,
It's not a complete lie, though.
There's no risk to them, I would say. I guess you're saying, what is the political risk for the rest of us? Yeah, I think it's very high. Yeah, like if enough Democrats, if the House changes hands and goes back to the Democrats because Ken Buck resigns and some others resign, then maybe they
Oh no, I believe that. Yeah, I believe that.
Or in 2025,
I don't take. I take almost everything, no matter what side or where it's coming from. At face value. Both sides lie to us constantly, so.
There could be some serious political risk there.
No matter what party or whatnot, they're going to lie to you.
Thank you for that. Angel says, I think he needs to just go with Vivek Ramaswamy. If not, then Carrie Lake, also good picks. Lady,
I actually got moved.
Some good ones like Cash Patel and Rick Grinnell.
From what poll I'm working,
I think going to prison tomorrow.
To one that's right in the middle of a very blue area.
Have stood by him through this, the ones who have had his back.
So that should be interesting. They said they're going to pay me a bonus to do it.
Hey, Crash says, Rob, this old guy is not old. He is 19 and never been kissed. He's just out cruising chicks. Heck yeah, he is. It's his birthday, baby.
So yeah, I'm going to be like right in the middle of hard blue area.
Around all the hot mamas out
in Toledo.
What's up? B is never silent says, Rob, we see
Still sucks though, because I got to set up on Monday night and then be back there at 5:30 in the morning the next day for the primaries, which don't mean shit right now because they've already decided who the presumptive nominees are for both sides. But, I'll take money for it.
I'm very grateful for it. Thank you. Thanks for being part of it, man. Thanks for being here, jumping in the chat, creating energy. Right, thank you to everybody who comes and joins us. So bring some energy, bring some humor, bring some conversation.
Well, this is going to get nuts, so
Always beautiful to get
let me turn this around.
have these chats.
I'm going to have to bolt for the door here. That's why I wore a hoodie today, so I can just toss her over and take off running. We'll see. I may have a desktop stream. I don't know. Probably going to spend quite a bit of time here today because
okay, so my friends, I got a wrap. I got a hard stop.
I won't be here tomorrow. So.
The hour. We are
That's not the plan yet.
Tonight.
All right, guys. Love you. Thanks for riding with me. Peace.